Hello, good afternoon. It's Paul Cherry, normally a Paul Cherry Trains. Now, this afternoon I'm recording a video slightly different because it's going to have no trains in it. You might be thinking, well, what's this got to do with modern railways then? Well, it's got quite a lot actually, because it's got to do with content creation and how I'm going about my content creation and how I'm attempting to improve the workflow which I have. Now, what's been happening is that the computer that I've been using for video editing has been struggling more and more and more. It's a computer I built myself over 10 years ago, and it's got it's basically got apart from I put an SSD in it and everything like that and made various internal improvements, but really it's the technology of over 10 years ago, and it's one of the main limitations, and I will come to it now, is it's only got 4 gigabytes of RAM in it, and it would be I'm not sure the motherboard would take much more RAM. That's how far back the actual system goes, and that's where my limitations were beginning to be felt. Now, also, when I was shooting videos, I was having to try to shoot my videos all in one go, simply because if I had to edit them and then render them, it would take about 3 hours to render something like a half-hour video. Okay, that's how slow things were. I was getting it all done in the end, but then it was also then taking me a further hour to get it out onto YouTube. So, I could shoot something at 7 o'clock in the evening, or start shooting, finish shooting, say, when I'm happy with what I got, by about 9 o'clock, and then it probably won't be able to get it even ready to go out until 1 o'clock in the morning. And it was taking a lot of time. So the decision was made to upgrade the computer. Now, I could have taken two paths. Now, one I may do later anyway, and that was to upgrade the actual computer itself by completely replacing the motherboard, the processor, the memory, just digging the old lot out, slotting a new lot in. I'd still have my existing solid state drive, and even if I had to reinstall Windows, at least I'd have something which was more usable. And now, what I decided in the end was to go to buy another computer. Okay, and I was thinking that really what we needed to do was to get my workflow going, and at the time my way of thinking was, well, did I want to spend time messing about with the computers and things like that, so, rebuilding a whole new one, and the time that would take, and did I want to work with the computer or work on the computer? Was I going to work on the computer? Was the computer going to be working for me? Okay, so I decided to buy another computer off the shelf. Now, I explored the possibility in both, and what I decided was initially was what I was after was something like an AMD Ryzen 5 computer. I think it was a 3600, something like that. And I was going to put something like either 8 or 16 gigabytes of RAM in there, and I was going to keep the current graphics card, and I'll explain to you why that is. I'm going to be talking a little bit more when we get to actually look at the new computer. So we might take a glance at the old computer and then go on to the new computer system, and I can explain to you about why I made the decisions I did. And in my opinion, I think it's the right decision. Some people may disagree. Okay, some people may disagree because we've all got different wants and needs and requirements from our computer system. But mine was, first of all, to identify what were the actual bottlenecks in my video production, and what did I need to alleviate it. Now, what we'll be doing in quite a short while is we'll be popping upstairs and we'll be taking a look at my new computer system, and you can actually we'll have a nice little look around at it. Okay, so I'll be back in just a few moments. Okay, so and then the next time you'll see me, I'll be, as if by magic, I will be upstairs in my computer room. Okay, so I will see you shortly. Right, now then, this is my brand new computer system. Okay, the computer itself I bought in Argos. That was the base unit, and it came with the keyboard and mouse. You can see before you now. The only thing I have kept from everything was the pair of speakers you can see on top of the unit there. Okay, the speakers were absolutely fine. And we'll go over what this system actually consists of. Now obviously it's a PC based unit. You can see I've also got a brand new monitor, and we'll talk about my choices there and what my decisions, what brought about my decision there with that. Okay, and also you can see in your rifle there is a microphone. Okay, so all new stuff, and we're just going to be come across now. Be sat down in just a couple of seconds. Now please bear with me with the camera work, because it's all fairly handheld. Okay, now the camera is finding very great difficulty focusing on the screen at the moment, but that will soon be alleviated. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch the computer on, and you will see why I chose this. Okay, so that was how fast the computer comes on, basically. Okay, now what we're going to do is that's a demonstration of what we got here, and then we'll talk about what the computer consists of, and this will give you some idea of the speed that we got. Okay. Okay, so we've got the start menu here. So what I'm going to do is I'll show a restart. Because one of the restriction factors was that how long it took to just get into the computer and get to work. Okay, so it's restarting now. And that's a restart. That's a complete reboot and restart. And they're up and running. Okay, so that is greatly helping my workflow. Okay, also the monitor, I mean, it might be difficult to see the quality of the monitor from here, but I assure you it's a lovely monitor. This is what we call an IPS panel. So it was one up from the base level of monitors, but I managed to get this for roughly the same price as what the lower model was going for in other places. I bought this off of Amazon. Okay, now the microphone, which helped me a great deal, was about £10. If you can see the make of it, there's got a V-top with the wires in the way down my finger, but it's called a V-top. Okay, V-W-T-O-P, V-top. And it was only about £10. I've been finding this quite adequate for my work. Now, the actual model of the computer is a Hewlett Packard M01-F1058na. It's got an i5 processor in it, 8 GB of DDR4 RAM. That's about to be upgraded to 16. That's on its way, the other 8 GB. It's got a 512 GB M2 SSD and a built-in CD/DVD writer, because I do actually still convert quite a lot of stuff over from VHS tape to DVD. I've done that for a number of people over the years, and that's the video recorder that I use for that. Okay, that's connected up with a capture card, an easy capture card, and that's basically how my studio works. And the software I'm using is called Cyberlink Power Director, Cyberlink Power Director 365. Okay, and that's how fast it starts up. Now I'll show you, under the old computer, this would take ages to start. Okay, so it's a fairly quick start under my content creation. So basically I'm up and running already. So that's no time at all. Okay, you might see a bit of light coming in from the side there, from the side of the window, but and the screen might not be too clear to you, but that's how it's coming out over the camera. It's not like what the screen's like. But now what we can do is we can see it was taking quite a long time as well to open a project, and I was actually suffering from a number of crashes. Okay, now what this is, what you can see coming up on the screen here and now, is my last video that I made on the East Somerset Railway. And what I've done is, because I've got the microphone now and it's connected up, and in fact all you had to do is just plug the microphone into a USB socket and it was ready to roll virtually. And then that gave me the ability to actually do voiceovers. Okay, and on here you can see that's the various video sequences that the film is made up of, and then you've got the video tracks, the audio track which was recorded on the camera, and then the bottom line is the audio which I actually completed by doing a voiceover. Now I didn't publish this video with the voiceover on it, because I did this after it was published, but I wanted to see what the video might be like with the voiceover recorded on it. Okay, and we can perhaps maybe have a bit of a demonstration in just a second. Let's see if we can get that back to there. Okay, so let's see now. I don't think I've got the speaker switched on, so forgive me. Here we go. Right. So now we've swapped sides of the train and we are heading back towards Cranmore Station. We're going towards the engine shed. You just saw there an SO tanker wagon. And there's the engine shed there, where lots of work is in progress at the moment on a large prairie tank locomotive. And then you can see a big crane there which is under repair as well. And they'll be shortly heading towards the station, and I'll be taking a look at the pannier tank L92 in London Transport livery. Right, so that will give you some idea about the kind of quality which was actually available to me from recording from the microphone. You can see there. So that I did that commentary there wasn't put on while I was sat on the train. Now this is going to help me a great deal, and probably would help a lot of other content creators if they can do voiceovers instead of just recording their voice as they're making the film, because you may want to not do a running commentary, especially if it would, say for example, disturb the other passengers, get on people's nerves and that sort of thing while you're talking into the camera. And so this gives someone the ability to be able to do a voiceover later and perhaps maybe think about what kind of commentary they'd like to put on their video. Now, one thing I will say about the HP computer, and that's that the inside of the computer is actually made up of proprietary parts. Now what that, well, I don't know if I'm using the right word, but what it means is that the parts that which are actually inside the computer are actually unique to that computer. Okay, so it's not basically consisting of off-the-shelf components, a lot of it. So the power supply, for example, and other parts, I think if you need replacements, you might have to get them from HP. But the reason I went down that route, and bear in mind that I'm still able to change the processor, I'm able to add more RAM into the computer. I'm going to be doubling the amount of RAM, and also you can upgrade the SSD if you should so desire. If you were to buy an Apple device, you would not be able to upgrade practically anything in there, because Apple have gone down the route of actually soldering everything into the motherboard. Okay, so you do still have the option of upgrading things in this computer. Plus, you do get a great deal of care, about from HP nowadays on your computer. I took out a 3-year care package, which cost about £35, I think. But I think it's good value. I mean, they extended the warranty out quite a long way. Also, the monitor is warranted out for 2 years. So, I mean, it's not for me to influence you as what you should buy, because everyone's requirements are different to each other. I can only explain to you what my requirements from a computer was going to be. Now, I originally, like I say, I was looking at computers with a Ryzen 5 processor in, but everything I looked at, and it didn't matter whether it was Argos, Currys, PC World, all the major sort of producers. Every computer I was looking at was sold out. There was always the ones that which were available at the time either had a hard drive disk that were too small. You know, a lot only came with a 256 gigabyte hard drive, solid state drive, and that was too small for me. Because my existing computer has got a 500 gigabyte drive, and it's got about 300 gigabytes worth of stuff already on it. It's quite a mature system, so that took a lot of those things out of the equation, and a lot of computers. So this one, when I looked at it, I thought, well, okay, it's got an i5 processor, the Intel i5 processor. That will be fine for me. It's got the 512 gigabytes of RAM. A 512 gigabyte solid state drive inside of it. It's got 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now, the actual minimum system requirements for this particular piece of software here, which is PowerDirector 365, is 4 gigabytes, but they say 8 gigabytes preferred. Now, I find that this is running well within its limitations. Now, also, I'm managing perfectly fine with the onboard graphics. Okay, now again, that's down to my own workflow and personal preferences. This is the onboard graphics you can see here. Sorry about that, my phone made a bit of a noise then in the background. Sorry about that if you heard something in the background. But when I tested it, when you're looking for bottlenecks, okay, on a computer, I would say that you need to run Task Manager. Okay, Task Manager. And that would tell you how everything's actually going on the computer. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop things for a second. Okay, now I don't know if you can see this, but this is with the, obviously I've not got anything rendering at the moment, but the CPU is running at 1%, okay? The memory is on 5 of the 8 gigabytes. The SSD, there's no activity at the moment. I've got also a USB drive. I'll explain to you why I've got an external drive on this as well in a minute. Ethernet, that's obviously your internet connection. That's not doing anything at the moment. And the GPU is running it as 0%. Okay, 0%. So bear that in mind. Now, when I was actually doing a lot of my video work on the computer, with the old computer, where things were actually bottlenecking was on the memory. The memory would jam right up to the top. Okay, the CPU, you're going to find that probably the CPU will probably be running at capacity a lot of the time anyway when you're rendering a video. Okay, and then we'll have a look and we'll just see now. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're playing back the video on the screen there. Okay. Hello, the film you're about to see is my visit today, which I took to the East Somerset Railway. Just turn the volume down on that one. Just turn the volume down on that for a second, because I want to talk over this. Okay, so what we're going to be looking at here now, and remember this is purely about my own personal experience and workflow. Now we're playing a video, and the GPU, okay, the Intel R internal graphics, okay, integrated graphics, is running at 8%. 9% went to briefly there. Okay, so that's with the video editing software running, and it's actually playing back the video. Okay. So we'll just stop that now. And we're going to try an experiment, okay? And you're able to see again now where one of my problems was with rendering, okay, with video rendering. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the produce one here, and I'm just going to simply carry out a video rendering procedure, and then we'll just see what happens. Okay, so you see we're flying through this, okay. Okay, so and we're going to call this voiceover Mark 2 because I've already recorded this with this, but I'm going to delete this anyway shortly. But I'll call this Mark 2. Okay, so we're going to save the location. Now, before we start the rendering process, I'll just show you where it's all going to be stored on this little external drive here. Now, the reason why I'm storing video on the external drive is because I don't want the hard drive that's on the computer to fill up, which is actually containing all of my programs and my operating system. Okay, so you'll find that if you're doing videos, they will fill up rather rapidly. Okay, we're going to be doing H.264 AVC, okay, which is codec MP4, okay. So and it's 1080p we're shooting in. I don't shoot in 4K. We're going to be doing 1080p. Okay, so let's press start, and we'll set proceedings going. Okay, so at the moment then, it's going to tell us how long this video is going to take to render. Okay, now what it's going to be doing, I don't know if you can see this here, but when I'm going to see it here, but it's actually showing how much needs to be rendered and what the time remaining is going to be on this. Now, if you bear in mind it would take me ages and ages to actually do this, the time remaining now on my new computer for this, it's going to be 6 minutes and 29 seconds. Well, about 6.5 minutes is going to take to render all of this. So we can actually render the entire thing. And we're saving it on an external drive, okay? Which I'm doing because I don't want to take up all the space on my computer. So it's going quite quickly. Now rendering is what actually takes up all of the progress. Okay, so what we're looking, we'll just see now. Now I'll tell you what I meant by the GPU. Okay, how much and where the bottlenecks were and where they're not. Okay, the CPU is running at about 55%. Is fluctuating somewhere between 33% and 100. Every now and again it goes up to 100, nearly 100. At the moment it's running at about 50%. Okay, the memory is we're using at 5.1 of these 7.8 gigabytes. Okay, so you can imagine what problems I was getting trying to run it with 4 gigabytes of memory. Okay, It's got 8 gigabytes of memory in it at the moment, and it's only taking up 5.1 of it. The disk, the SSD is running at 5%, and disk E, which is the external drive, obviously that's one where I'm recording the video onto, that's running at 100%, and that's fine. But say the GP, the Ethernet, which we don't need to worry about too much, because that's the internet connection, is virtually nothing. But the GPU is only running at about 29% max capacity, just dropped down to 23%, and that's the onboard graphics. That's your onboard graphics there, and that's why I decided I wasn't that worried about actually getting a graphics card for this. Okay, again, this is personal for me and what suits my workflow. Okay. And we'll just minimize this now, and you imagine that I was going through system crashes, things going wrong. Yeah, it's going to take now, it's gone down to 6 minutes now to actually produce my video, and it's actually flying. Okay, so this really is going, it's actually already produced 35% of the video. Okay. So like I say, I mean, I think there's a slot in the actual computer to take a graphics card should I wish to do it, if necessary, but I don't think I'm going to need to. I mean, it is running perfectly well here. Okay, so what I do is I'm going to probably leave you in just a few minutes time now, for a few moments time, and I hope you found this video useful, because obviously as a content creators, I think I'd like to know what other people are using when they're doing it. Some people do it straight from their phone, which is fine. Some people like me have been using computers that have, you know, been quite elderly. I mean, one of the reasons as well why this computer is running so fast is because of the internal storage. Okay, it's called M.2 storage. So the actual hard drive literally slots straight into the motherboard. It don't run on SATA cables or anything like that. It's got no separate cables. It's just straight into the motherboard, and really for me, I mean, this is running absolutely perfect. So I'm absolutely pleased with what I got here. Okay. Now, if you've got any questions you want to ask me, then by all means ask. I say this computer, the only upgrade I'm going to be making to it, as far as I can tell, is that I'm not sure I'm even going to need it now. I was given the impression I was going to need 16 gigabytes of memory in my computer to run things. Shooting on 1080p like I'm doing, okay, I don't think I'm going to need. I'm not sure I'm going to need this extra memory module which I've ordered. That might be the only potential upgrade. I'm actually perfectly happy with all the performance. One of the other things too is that the my other computer couldn't run Windows 11. This is actually running on Windows 11. Okay, so I hope you found this useful, and thank you very much. If you stuck with me right through this video, thanks very much for watching, and I shall bid you farewell. If you like what you see, please like, subscribe. It does mean a lot to me if you do that, and ring that alert bell for all content, and you'll get to see future videos. Okay, so thank you very, very much for watching, and bye bye.